Right. See, when we grew up camping, and you know, we camped. You know, you took us camping our whole lives, didn't you, Dad, growing up? You know.
Yeah, well, sort of. We camped 3 and 4 weeks every year for nearly 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. Many times 4 weeks. Almost the whole Christmas holidays we camp at Foster and Southwest Rocks, and you know, it was those camping trips. And back then, camping was very different to what it is today with the equipment you had, but it was still camping. You know, you had a nice tent and or an old canvas tent, wasn't it? And
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it was like the gear was pretty primitive to what you've got today, but we didn't know any better. We thought we were doing pretty well with what we had.
In the day, if you're out camping, it doesn't matter what gear you have. You know, when I started camping myself, it's all basic gear. You know, and like we're talking about cooking gear the other night too, because this is all dedicated camping gear. But back then, it'd be all leftover pots and pans from your kitchen, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
that's
just
what
whatever
it
you
was.
could get your hands on.
Yeah, it was Billy's and Dixie's and whatever was left over. That's right.
So
and then everything was packed in cardboard boxes. There was no plastic containers or any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So it's nice to see it evolve from what it was, and it's one big thing with the gear is when it's beautiful gear, beautiful quality gear. It's such a joy to use, to set up, and part of the camping experience is actually now setting up and also packing up, isn't it, Dad? Like we saw that the other day down the river camp. Such good quality gear. It's, you know, in the past, packing up camp was like a bit of a chore, you know, and you're like, oh no, but now it's like it's a bit of an experience.
Well, you've got good gear and it's all going back in, this goes with that.
Yeah, with the bag, everything's got a bag. So you made a comment just before about, you know, how we used to always have, and everyone would remember this, you know, the gas lanterns. Yeah. And that's what everyone used to use, wasn't it?
Gas lanterns.
It was, you know, they were pretty dangerous, weren't they?
Well, they used to always worry me because you fellas are in another tent, and then you'd have the gas lantern in the other tent, and then there'd be a bit of pushing and shoving and that sort of thing, and one goes over and then it's a real problem.
Yeah, I mean, if those things tipped over, and 3 boys, mate, we were always wrestling, beating each other up, and knock one of those things over. Yeah, they're deadly, aren't they?
Deadly.
The tent would go up in flames, and I mean, it used to happen, and you know, I used to, even until recently, I haven't seen it this year, but you'd see every Christmas someone's tent or caravan or something, there's a gas accident, you know, quite often. So gas, we've got very strict gas laws in Australia, and you know, I've complained about it and other people have, but really, you know, you have to be respectful with gas because it is quite a dangerous product, and you know, people end up, what they were doing was just putting gas connection after gas connection and T-joiners and all over the place, and next thing you get leaks, and it is dangerous. So Australia's really clamped down, like Primus now has really clamped down on different leads of gas and got very strict, but the good thing is those old lanterns are a thing of the past, I suppose, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they were dangerous.
Just getting the mantle on was difficult, wasn't it?
Yeah, the mantle would crack, you'd get a hole in that and it'd burn a hole in the glass. And,
yeah, so anyway, I probably missed that old noise, that hissing noise of those gas lanterns, but you know, these days it's the you know, mini HOZUKI and LED, so that's pretty nice. And you know, it's pretty amazing. You know, we didn't bush camp so much. You know, we did out the back of Wangler in the boat and that, but mostly we were at caravan parks. But the different thing that you had that nobody else really had was you had that big double table set up. Remember that?
It acted as carry bars for carrying the tent on the top of the car. Because we carried the tent and a whole heap of other stuff, and it was sort of like boxes. They're only about, you know, so deep. And then when we got there, the boxes would turn upside down the other way, and we had some legs that go on it, and that would make
it. See if you can find a photo. So just big long, they're like, you know, 6-7 foot long, weren't they?
Yeah.
About, you know, 2 foot wide, maybe 500 wide. Yeah. So just basically big long trays, and they would go, Dad had a couple of just roof rails that he made up on the top of the old Kingswood, and the Kingswood station wagon, and they'd go upside down, and all the gear would just go inside. So they're basically, you know, like a roof rack, but then you'd lift them off, turn them upside down, and there'd be a double shelf with some leg setups that all screw together with some little wing nuts, remember that?
That's right, yeah.
When you designed all that, and it was a little kitchen setup, and the thing was, it was just a bench setup, really, is what it was.
Yeah, well, it was easy to prepare food. Like, you know, you could prepare food standing up. It's just like having a kitchen bench.
Yeah, it's a big long bench with a bench underneath.
Yeah.
And back those days, I mean, what did people do if they didn't have that? There was just, you know, old tables, and it was very hard to get a big long table, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
You know, unless you had two saw stools and an old door, you know, yeah. But so it was quite a good setup, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, we did a renovation on the kitchen, and we pulled the old kitchen cupboards out, and instead of taking the boat this year, we we took the kitchen cupboard that I pulled out of the house.
In the trailer.
Yeah, and in the trailer, and we stuck it in, and I got into trouble with it from all the other blokes that were there because their wives said, "Oh yeah, this is what we want. We want a kitchen cupboard."
Yeah,
like
the kitchen sink.
Yeah, the kitchen sink.
Remember that? An old kitchen got pulled out of the house, and we had a box trailer. We took, and Dad took the bloody kitchen sink. So anyway, those are the days, and you know, I think probably, I mean, we did have, you tinkered a lot with your camping gear, with what we had back then. You know, I remember your eskies used to fill them up with beanbag balls. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
oh, the lids, the lids. Yeah, because there was no insulation in the lids, and I got the beans out of bean bags and filled the lids up with that to insulate.
And that made a huge difference, didn't it?
Oh, it did. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And then the tops of it, we'd always have wet towels on the tops of the eskies too to keep them.
There's no fridges back then.
No.
Man-made fridges were never heard of camping. It was all ice, you know, and there was a daily ritual getting the ice guide come around. And probably one of the reasons why people didn't bush camp so much, because I mean you didn't have a fridge, and you know, people used to camp at caravan parks, but back then caravan parks weren't like today. They weren't, you know, cabins everywhere and swim pools. It was like bush camping, wasn't it?
It was bush camping. We used to always sort of find a campsite, no power, and it was just almost like bush camping.
That's right.
But nowadays you go back to the same places and it's just overgrown with cabins.
That's right, yeah. But you know, the milkman would come around, and the bread guide come around sometimes, and the ice guide come around, and that was, for kids, that was a pretty exciting thing to have those guys come around to camp, you know. So I think what it was, of course, you've seen what we've developed here at Drifta, and really what it's all come from is those days when we were camping with you as a family. Yeah, 4 weeks literally every year, the whole time we were growing up, and seeing, you know, that your organised, neat campsite, which it always was. It was a neat, organised campsite, and that's really instilled in me, one, a love of camping, and two, a need for me to have a neat, organised campsite, and that's really what we've developed today, and the huge company and enormous amount of products that we have here at Drifta. There's 7 different companies under Drifta. Enormous range of products we do, and all the different products we've designed. It's all come from those days of camping at Foster.
Yeah, but then, you know, we used to
go
to Wyangla every second weekend from October to Easter, and camp. You know, usually Friday night, Saturday night, and we'd water ski and fish and that sort of thing.
We had some great times out there as kids. We were very lucky. We had an old boat. You know, it was an old Blue Band 65 Mercury with a Pride hull.
Pride Playmate hull.
Little fiberglass thing, and
yeah, pretty much every kid in Blaney learned to ski behind it.
Yeah, only a little 65, but mate, you know, like Dad said, all the kids used to learn to ski behind that, and we're all on one ski, and that thing just drove around circles the way we were down for years, didn't it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah, the neighbours used to come out. There's a couple of good friends, Dennis and Gary and their families. They used to always come out and camp with us. And it was always, you know, quite a lot of people there.
Yeah, no, we were very lucky growing up as kids. We got to experience a lot, and we didn't go travelling overseas ever. I think I went to Sydney once or twice. When I went to join the army, I think it was the second time I'd ever been to Sydney. But we did a lot of camping, and you know, we're very lucky. So, and as you can see too, the whole Drifta business has stemmed from those early days camping with Dad and the family, and we're very fortunate that you sort of instilled that in us to start with. So
it used to be funny. We'd be cooking a meal, and then there'd always be ringing kids that turn up. And I remember one time that we were cooking at Wyangla, and there was about 17 kids, but there was only 8 of ours, and the rest had sort of gathered from somewhere.
Yeah, they'd all come and hang around the Sutton camp. Anyway, well, good on you, Dad. Thanks very much.
Oh,
and that's resulted in the Drifta business, and here we are today. So thanks very much. Alright, so we might just check this roast. I'm going to turn these lights around. Look at that. So we'll turn the orange off and the white on. We've got heaps of light there now. So have a bit of a look. It smells bloody good, I can tell you that. And that heat's pretty good, Dad, eh?
Yeah.
Not too much heat in there, but I reckon that's going pretty good. Definitely cooking. What about the veggies? You going to chuck them on?
Yeah, we'll chuck those on. Yeah, throw those on there.
We can put them in amongst here, couldn't we, or not?
Yeah, they can go in amongst that.
Righto, so
I'll just chuck all these in.
I hope we're doing this right, Brent. This is your signature series.
Well, if it all goes wrong, it'll all be that hooker's fault.
That's right. We blamed JD the other night. We'll just chuck a little bit more of that in there. To regulate the temperature a little bit. And I think I'm going to chuck a few more bits of charcoal in. Just to rev that up a bit again.
There's still a lot of heat in there.
Look at how much heat's there. You can see that. What's the time now? Must be 9 o'clock.
Oh, it's 25 to 9. Yeah.
So
That's nearly an hour later.
Yeah, almost an hour, wasn't it? We started at 7:45, didn't we?
7:45, yeah. 50 minutes.
So 55 minutes, and you can see that is still roaring. Yeah. You know, plenty of heat left in that. So it's good to have that little bit of extra charcoal there we can shove in. But if we did that again, I'd probably only fill that up 3/4 to half. And righto. I mean, it's a bit of a late night. The sun is, this is the west here. Have a look out there, JD. It's beautiful setting. Such a nice spot here. We've got the Land Cruisers all lined up. JD 75. We've got the 80. We've got the 200. We've got the 73. The 76 out the back. And it's such a nice spot, JD, to be living here.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, that's the west, that side, and the sun just absolutely beats in here. It's a stinking hot day today, and until about 6 o'clock the sun's just starting to go down, so we couldn't really start too early, and we wanted to show you the lights. So it's a bit late for dinner, but we'll get there. No worries. Okay, so JD, what do you think, mate? Have a good time or what?
Well, I think this campsite one thing is probably the best thing to come around to Drifta.
You're looking a little bit stressed at the moment.
Oh yeah. It's probably this really uncomfortable couch I'm on.
And this beautiful little fire.
Let me get some.
You want another mushroom?
Yeah, mate. Let me get some of those. These are just incredible. And just a little bit of salt and pepper, some oil on the grill for about 10-15 minutes. You'd be confused that this is a vegetable. You'd think it was almost meat. So good and so simple.
You're good, mate, I tell you. That's the best mushroom I've ever had. You put so much salt and pepper on. I'm confused whether it's just salt and pepper or whether it's actually a mushroom.
Well, anything that has water in it, you got to salt it a little liberally.
We've got a nice little setup here, mate. I don't know if anyone's got as good a setup as us tonight.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, you're basically just camping every night here, and it's a great place to test products and figure out a system that works.
Yeah. This is the Drifta 1 R&D site with gear galore, isn't it? How's this roast going, mate?
Oh, well, let's take a look at it. Come have a look.
I need a bit of light. Put this in here.
Nice little leg of lamb there.
What do you think, Brett? Are we doing good? Well, you want to like cut a bit and see or what? I mean, this is probably the first leg of lamb I've ever cooked.
Yeah, hang on, you haven't done much.
Well, I started the charcoal.
Oh, that's the point. Yeah, okay.
You know, and I've been regulating the temperature with the charcoal. Like I said, I've been trying to ring Brett all afternoon, but he's still riding around on his racing bike.
All right, so let's
down in the Tour de France. No, the Tour de Adelaide. Well, that's good, mate.
I'd say that's pretty good.
That's it, that's cool. Get it off. What about the veggies?
Oh, they're good.
Veggies done.
Veggies are done. Alright, so.
What about the beans, JD?
They're done.
Yeah?
Yep.
Look at this kitchen setup we've got here. Like the old DPR, mate. You can't get better. We got beans in here. Fridge. You right, Dad? What's happening?
Oh, I don't know how much pepper he put in that.
You gotta have the spice in there. A couple extra veggies, strugglers. Alright, let's serve this bad boy up.
Well, I think I'm going to sleep here tonight.
Yeah. Well, there's a guest room up top.
Yeah.
Just bring some blankets out and a pillow. I think you'd be stupid not to.
We have got a nice little campsite here tonight.
That one was a bit salty.
Just look at that.
Okay, so.
Loving these HOZUKIs. Now with a chargeable battery kit. So, serving up, JD, or what?
Yeah, we'll get some plates going and we'll just transfer this lamb onto this serving dish and cut her up.
Okay, we're going to tuck in.
Absolutely.
That's a great little grill, eh? 600 mils. It's easy to carry. Charcoal is still roaring. You could cook some steaks right now, JD.
Yeah, and to be honest, you probably find that we finished dinner and you could still cook on that for like another 2 hours.
Yeah.
It just holds its heat really well.
Well, that's worked out really well. And that roast was just beautiful. So we've proven it. We've just cooked it with this little oven lid in a hot plate with Gidgee charcoal, and look at this thing here. There we are. Look at that, falls flat. So look at that. This falls completely flat, but that lifts up into a little box section which goes on here, and you can use that as an oven basically. So you've got a hot plate you can grill on, you've got a barbecue plate you can cook on, and with this little attachment that lifts up and folds into a box oven, you can do all sorts of things. So yeah, pretty versatile little cooker setup, isn't it, JD?
Yeah, I mean that tastes as good as you could do it in your house with a professional kitchen and an oven. So
what was it, about an hour really?
Yeah, about an hour and a half, I think, for that big leg of lamb that was probably, what would you say, that was maybe 3 kgs?
Yeah. And you know, we're probably only talking $5 worth of charcoal, if that.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, that was brilliant.
You know, in that bag, that's $25 for the bag, and we didn't even need half that. Probably, it wouldn't even be $5 because that's not a fifth of the bag, you know. Anyway. So, here's our little roast. Look at that, it's not a bad little meal. And cooked over coals on our little Drifta 1 campsite. We've had a good time tonight. Thanks very much.